I'm sorry, guys. I didn't even realize I was muted. But what's really good? Welcome back to another episode of Wednesday Night with the Sanchez Show. As always, I'm your host, Eric Sanchez, aka Legend of Two Games. Make sure you are subscribed to the podcast. Vern, what's really good, Vern? Shoot me a text. Let me know what's going on with you. We got week 3 picks. We got to get into the Canelo Crawford fight. I wasn't able to join the live on Monday with my brother Trip Young, so I didn't get to answer some of those questions. But I did see a comment in here about that. Got some big games, some desperate teams going into week 3. We got to figure out what's going on here. Vern, let me know in the comment section how you did last week. Your picks weren't that great last week. Shout out to Johnny Floss. I see you as well. But yeah, let's get into some of the comments. Let's get into the comment section. Let's see what we got. I'm going to start with Kyrie. As I mentioned, I wasn't on the live on Monday, so I didn't get to it. If for those of you that are over on IG, bear with me. I'm flipping back and forth. I'm getting to the comments on that side as well. But shout out to Kyrie. Thoughts and recap on the Crawford-Canelo fight. Very simple. Crawford put on a masterclass. He displayed why he is the pound-for-pound king. The new updated list just came out. He is the pound-for-pound king right now. Couple takeaways and a couple things that I noticed right away. And I'll admit when I'm wrong about certain things, but I'm going to let you know when I'm right about other things. I was completely wrong about how Crawford would handle the weight. He struggled at 154. He didn't look good at that fight at 154. Trip, I see you, bro. Let me know once you're ready. Give me a thumbs up. I'll bring you on the live. He struggled at 154. So for me, I did not think that he was going to carry the weight well up to 168, especially being this is his first time at that weight, especially since you're fighting the best fighter at that weight class. So I was completely wrong about that. But one of the things I mentioned on the last live was that in order for Crawford to win this fight, he is the superior boxer. So he needed to get out early, get out fast, win the early rounds, and then force Canelo to chase him the rest of the fight. That's exactly how it played out. The one thing that stuck out the most to me, though, in this fight, I see you, Trip. The one thing that stuck out to me the most in this fight, though, was that Bud Crawford stood left-handed the whole fight. And the reason that was significant, I noticed it right away. What's good, bro?
What up? What up?
Ain't not much. I was getting into the Canelo Crawford fight because I know I didn't get to join the live on Monday. But as I was saying, Crawford went left-handed right from the jump. He never had to change. Canelo did not do a good job of adjusting to the southpaw stance. His corner not one time did I hear his corner talk about cutting off the ring. Not one time did I hear his corner talk about taking that outside position off of his left foot, Crawford's right, to stop him from circling that direction. But the reason it was significant that he stood left-handed, throughout Canelo's career, the biggest struggles he's had have been against left-handed fighters. It was Landy Lara, Austin Trout, Billy Joe Saunders. All those guys were crafty lefties that gave him trouble. And in all those cases, because he won the fight, nobody ever really talked about it. It didn't become the book on how to beat him. But the fact that Crawford got to stay left-handed, never had to switch, speaks to the genius of Crawford, but also I think it exposed a major flaw in Canelo and their preparation because Canelo, as a world championship fighter, as a guy who's been on this stage so many times, you got to be able to make some in-fight adjustments. You got to be able to switch up your game plan and be able to throw off your opponent at some point throughout the fight. He never did that. And I just thought Crawford did a great job of winning the early rounds, as we talked about, Trip, but then being able to box and then throw when he needed to, but most importantly, keep the distance so that he never had to get into too many exchanges.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta love it for Terrence Crawford. To be honest with you, especially in the later rounds, it seemed pretty easy for him.
Oh yeah, once he got up on the cards, and I thought once he was able to control the pace at that point, then it said that the weight was never going to become an issue at that point because he didn't have to worry about overexhausting himself to force the fight. That was one of the things when we talked about that. If you take an early lead in the fight, now you don't have to be the aggressor. Now you could just allow Canelo to come to you, and that's what kept happening. And then he was picking Canelo apart as Canelo tried to come at him.
Yeah, and you could just see the frustration building with Canelo. Like it was like he couldn't believe he was getting caught the way he was getting caught. But yeah, he couldn't do anything with Terrence Crawford, who he stays southpaw the entire fight, and is it gave me flashbacks of Mayweather versus Canelo. the way, you know, he came in, and it was just like whatever you thought Terrence Crawford was, he's stronger, he's faster, he's better defensively, his footwork is even better, and he went in there and did what he did what he had to do. You got
It
to
was
respect it.
it was a beautiful performance. Again, I don't think, because we never questioned if Crawford could outbox him. That was never the question. We knew Crawford was the better boxer. I think all of us felt the same way, that you're looking at a situation where, because there was so much weight, how would his body respond to the weight? That was my main question. I think that was a lot of people's, question in the fight. Because if they were fighting at 147 or 154, I don't think we even question. Crawford would have been the odds-on favorite. If they're fighting at a weight class that Crawford had been at for his whole career, he's the favorite. But because they were fighting at a weight class that Crawford had never been to, the fact that he had only one fight above 147, which is his last fight, and he didn't look good in that fight, the fact that he had only fought one time in the last 2 years, we had to have these questions. We had to wonder if he could, have enough energy to go through a 12-round fight with Canelo Alvarez. Again, I thought it was a massive game plan by Bud and his team. They came in, they understood there was going to have to be moments that you got to exchange. There's going to have to be moments you're going to have to win those battles in the phone booth. I thought he did that very well. I thought he handled the body shot to Canelo very well. There was something that was said on the broadcast that I don't know why they didn't mention it more. They talked about the lack of Canelo jabbing in the fight, but I think Canelo was willing to give away the jab to work on the body. In the first 4 rounds, that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to go to the body with the thinking, oh, this guy's going to break down later on, right? He's never been at this weight class. And then when it didn't happen, I think that's when you saw the real frustrations from Canelo, because then it was like, now the game plan didn't work. And that speaks to what I said about Canelo and him not having an alternative game plan. It was almost like this game plan was solely going to be work his body, break him down, and then later in the fight, we're going to let the power take over. Once you couldn't break down his body, Canelo had nothing left. He couldn't do anything with him.
Yeah, and I was saying he just started picking him apart. I didn't get to ask. Shout out to Justin Biggs. I didn't get to ask him on Monday, but I'm gonna ask you, Eric. How does this loss to Terrence Crawford affect Canelo's legacy?
I don't think it affects his legacy much. You're losing to an all-time great. I say that both ways, because if Crawford wouldn't have lost, I don't think it would have affected his legacy either. If you got one loss on your resume and it's Canelo Alvarez, it's like, all right, it's another all-time great. Both these guys are going to be first ballot Hall of Famers. I think he was
the fighter of this generation, this era, I should say, in boxing.
Well, they both were trying to take on that role, right? So Floyd officially retired, right? Floyd and Pacquiao fought, what's that, 12 years ago? Something like that.
And I mean by the highest, like the biggest ticket in boxing.
I mean, Canelo still has that. I mean, Canelo has done way bigger numbers than anything Crawford has done, and that's not all Crawford's fault. A lot of that, I always said, I blame the fact that Crawford didn't fight bigger fights sooner on Bob Arum. For years, Terrence Crawford asked to fight Manny Pacquiao, and Bob Arum would not give him that fight. But then turned around and was going to give it to Errol Spence a couple of years ago. So there were other factors at play that didn't allow Bud Crawford to get the major fights earlier that would have given him the household name he deserved. For a lot of people, they didn't know who Bud Crawford was up until a couple of years ago when he beat Errol Spence, right? The boxing fans, we knew who he was, but the casual fans didn't know because he hadn't been headlining pay-per-views. He hadn't been on any major cards. So even this weekend, when there were casual fans who didn't realize that Bud Crawford was that high on the pound-for-pound list. They were like, think about it. Canelo Alvarez was the betting favorite. But if you looked at the pound-for-pound list, Crawford was higher on the pound-for-pound list. So by boxing account, he was technically the better fighter. Canelo was getting the credit because he was the household name and they were fighting at his weight.
Yes.
So I don't think it affects the legacy at all. And if you're Canelo, Will, I'm about to bring you on the live, bro. Let me know once you're ready. Give me the thumbs up. If you're Canelo, your 3 losses are a decision to Floyd Mayweather, who arguably is, not only the greatest of his generation, one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Decision loss to Bivol, where he went up in weight, similar to like Crawford tried to do, or like Crawford did. Canelo tried to go up a little higher. It didn't work out. He lost a decision. And a decision to Terrence Crawford. All 3 world champions at the time. If Crawford never fights again, you're talking about Crawford at 42-0. You're talking about Floyd finished at 50-0. Right? And Bivol right now is the champion at light heavyweight. Canelo's never been stumbled, never been knocked down. He's the only fight we could say, and Crawford was great against him. But the one true fight that we'll always point out to say that where Canelo was dominated was the Floyd fight. That was the fight where he was dominated from start to finish.
Yeah.
He was embarrassed in that fight. Other than that, there isn't a moment where you can say, hey, Canelo didn't look like a great champion. Canelo was a great champion. It just proved that Crawford was on a different level. That when he fought Floyd Mayweather, he was on a different level. That when he fought Bivol as a light heavyweight was just on a different level. But I don't think it affects Canelo's legacy at all.
So outside of the rematch with Crawford, the next fight for Canelo, do we finally get the long overdue, long awaited? Do we finally get that one, that clash? Did we finally get it?
I think we do. So he's under contract for 3 more fights with Turki Al-Sheikh.
He doesn't have the opponents yet.
Well, no, he doesn't have them yet. But one of the stipulations in that contract was that he wasn't going to fight Jake Paul. Remember that there was the rumors that he was going to fight Jake Paul at one time, and then Turki was like, if we're going to do this deal, these are going to be 4 legitimate fights, not something against a Jake Paul, not something against a UFC guy, 4 legitimate boxers. If you're Canelo Alvarez and you don't get the rematch with Crawford, because it's possible Crawford could walk away from the game at this point. Crawford turns 38 in November. Crawford might say, I did everything I needed to do. I'm retiring on top, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he will.
Now, let me ask you this. If he does, is he top 5 all time?
If he leaves right now, I think without a doubt, him and Floyd Mayweather are the best welterweights of all time. You could debate whoever you like more. They're the 2 best welterweights of all time. I think he would have to be on the top 5 list because he's the only fighter to ever be undisputed champion in 3 different weight classes. No other fighter can ever say that. He's held the belt in 5 different weight classes. And again, I don't think he's done because now that he's a household name, this is an opportunity for him to go get a $100 million fight now. You know what I'm saying? And again, at 38 years old, it's still enough in the tank where you can say, I'm good for another fight or 2 if I really wanted to, especially if they're the right opponent. Now, I don't think Terrence has said himself that he probably would never fight Benavidez because Benavidez naturally is like a light heavyweight. He's already said himself like that might be a challenge that's too tall to go after. But Crawford could go middleweight. He's super middleweight champ. He could go middleweight and win all the belts there and be a 4 division unified champion.
Yeah.
So,
but and he'd probably be more comfortable at that weight too. Yeah.
To answer your question, we're gonna bring Will on. I think Canelo and Benavidez will fight. I don't think that's gonna be the next fight, but I think because Benavidez has a light heavyweight. Yeah, Benavidez has a light heavyweight fight already scheduled. So because of the time frames, I don't think that'll be Canelo's next fight. But I think the one after that, that's gonna be the one. It's got to happen, and I think Turki Al-Sheikh is gonna make it happen. But you already know what time it is, guys. Wednesday night with the Sanchez Show. We got Will Gordon in the building. Will, what's good, bro?
What it do, baby? What's up, my guys? How y'all feeling tonight, man? What's up, Trip? What up, E?
Well, what's good, bro?
Hey, nah, same old guys. How was y'all's week, man? Y'all have a good weekend?
Everything been good.
Yeah. Hey, shout out, Trip. Shout out to you had a great interview Monday, man. I was in there. Shout out to the queen you had on, man. It was. I learned a lot. I ain't really know about it, but that was a good interview, man.
Yeah, she's in the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame. She's still the all-time points leader at Cincinnati. Couple other accolades that she has as well.
Part of the Pan Am team,
yeah. If she didn't get hurt, she probably would have been on that '84 Olympic team.
She would have made.
Yeah, I googled it while you was watching. I seen she dropped 61 in high school or 50 something.
51. Yeah,
51 in high school. Still ain't been reached.
Yeah, she still got the record for that.
Shout out to her, and shout out to y'all for bringing the women side of the sport to the forefront. You know, for using y'all's platform to elevate women, especially Black women, and to bringing them to the forefront and giving them shine that nobody else is giving them. Shout out to y'all for that.
For sure, it's been a great run recently too, man. It's been a great run. Speaking of great runs, Will, you on fire, bro?
What I do last? I was waiting. What I do last week?
You was on. Listen, you and Triple. Well, all three of us had a great week. Vern's picks
Okay.
not so much. I think that's why Vern has been MIA recently. But you and Trip last week went 11-5.
Okay.
I'll
take that. What's up, Trish?
Yeah. And listen, Will, you crushed it on the primetime games. Not only did you get the Packers on Thursday night, you had the Falcons on a Sunday night, you had the Bucks and the Chargers on the 2 Monday nights. So you killed them there. Trip, the primetime games, actually the only thing that hurt you. You were solid aside from the primetime games because you lost with the Vikings, you lost with the Raiders, you lost with the Commanders. But
I would have picked the other way if I knew Ekeler was out.
Oh, I thought you knew that. We talked about it.
Yeah, I didn't realize Ekeler was gonna miss that game. Well, I would have picked the other way, but I'm happy with 11-5. We leveled up from last week, so I'm good with that.
Nah, that's a fact. I went 10-6 last week. The primetime games killed me though. I had Houston. Obviously, they didn't cover. I had Vegas. They didn't cover, and I had Commanders in that game as well. They didn't cover. Everything else I was solid on. But 10-6, you guys were 11-5. Vern, a disappointing week. Vern was listening on IG. I don't know if he's still on over there. He went 6-10 last week.
Oh, hey, Vern. Where he go? Did he go that last week too?
Nah,
he struggled week 1 too.
Was it?
He didn't have a good week 1 on the season.
Week 1.
On the season, Vern is 14-17 on the season. Will right now is Hall of Fame status. He's 24-8 through the first 2 weeks of the season.
Damn, I'll take that shit all day.
Yeah,
I need to start a handicapping podcast here if this shit keep rolling. Right?
Wait, what's
some
my
of the
total
questions,
for the 2
man?
weeks?
Say that again.
My 2-week record.
Your 2-week record right now, you're 20-12.
All right, I'll take that.
That's deep. Yeah.
We get going, but hey, listen, you're only as good as your last week, and last week you had a good week. So Here we go. Let's get to some of the questions in here. It's going to be a lot of football tonight, guys. Y'all got to know it's that time of year. But we'll get to some of these other basketball questions. There's a couple in here. Kyrie mentioned WNBA playoffs tonight. Mercury at Liberty, Golden State. The other series 1-1. You know me and Trip rocking with the Liberty tonight. You already know that. We ain't got to spend too much time here.
I got. You know what's crazy? I realized today I might be a degen because I found myself putting a little change down on WNBA playoff games and and the Yankee game. Like I was just toying around, but yeah, I need the Liberty to pull through tonight because I was on that side of it.
I should have went with the Liberty with the ultimate bing bong parlay because yesterday I had Yankees and Mets. They both came through for me. I should have put the Liberty tonight. But Pooh also said, shout out to Pooh. She said, congrats to Paige Buckers on winning Rookie of the Year. She did her thing. Yes, she did. Why is it like she's getting overlooked? And salute to Cheryl Cook. She was amazing. The 3 legends were great. Trip, go ahead. Start with that one. Do you feel Paige is getting overlooked?
But overlooked by who? She's Rookie of the Year.
Listen, this is Pooh asking a question, not me.
Oh, no. She's not getting overlooked. She's getting the respect that she deserves, and it's been earned this season from how well she's played. She definitely deserved Rookie of the Year. She's been talked about all season. I mean, and we knew she was going to be talked about all season more so than her peers that she got drafted with because she was the biggest name, going into this year's draft. But no, I think she's definitely getting her just due. I think she's going to continue to do that because she's going to continue to improve.
Yeah, I don't think Paige is getting overlooked. Now, Pooh, if you're referring to the fact that she's not getting as much hype, then that's something different. But I don't think she's been overlooked at all. She, again, the Rookie of the Year. She was one of the most talked about players throughout the season. Highly anticipated season. We talked about her debut. So I think she's gotten her respect. Now, is there as much hype? No, but you're comparing it to the type of hype that Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese got last year. That's a different level of hype. You can't compare every rookie to that. One more basketball question, and then we go on strictly football. Shout out to Pooh again. Will, you're going to start this one. She said, did y'all see Magic Johnson on some pod saying LeBron is a bad boy, but he ain't Michael Jordan? You got to see the video. Magic is funny. So she's referring to Magic was at Infest Fest, and he was presented with the question on comparing the two. I don't know if y'all saw it, but I'll paraphrase. He said LeBron is tough. He go, but he ain't Mike. And then he went into a whole story about when they played each other in the finals and Mike's mindset. So, Will, did you see the clip? And if not, I know you agree with Magic already, but give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I didn't see the clip. I saw the quote, but I didn't even have to click on it. You know what I'm saying? Because he ain't lying. You know what I'm saying? But I did not see the video. But I 1,000% agree. He ain't him. He ain't Kobe to me. So that's that.
I mean, listen, I know Trip is a Braun fan, but we all agree that Mike is the greatest. We've never debated that. Now, where you place LeBron all the time, that's up to you personally, anybody personally, but I don't think Magic is wrong in what he's saying. And what he's saying is something that's been talked about plenty of times. Mike is a different level of killer. That's all it is. Mike is a different level of killer. So does that take away from LeBron's greatness? No. I just think at this point it's unfair that we even still comparing the two, because I think the consensus is Mike is the all-time greatest player. LeBron is a top 5 player in my opinion, but I don't know why we keep comparing him to Mike. There's nothing he can do to pass Mike at this point.
Nope.
All right. Let's get into some football conversation. Kyrie, we're going to go to Kyrie. This wasn't the first football question, but I know Will's going to appreciate this one. Chargers deserve to be AFC West faves. I'm going to say yes. Go ahead, Will.
Well, they were my faves coming in, Kyrie, as you probably know, because I know you tune in every week when we were doing our previews. And through 2 weeks, we look decent. I'm not going to be that fan that's, this yeah and all that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grade what I've seen so far. So I'm taking it week by week. Week 1, week 1, you took down, your nemesis. We haven't beat them in 4 years. And you did it in a way that I needed to see. Like, that kind of game in the past under other regimes, we would have lost that game. When you see Mahomes making plays, like I thought we were gonna get Mahomes again, because that's how it was starting to look. That how they ended the half and rushed on to get that field goal off with like 8 seconds. Everybody lines up, nobody's offsides, and they nail a 50-some yarder at the end of the half. I felt like it was going to be another loss to the Chiefs. We overcame that. Then last week, with the spotlight on us on a Monday night on the road again, we took down the Raiders with ease. The game wasn't as close as the score. So, Justin Herbert's looking more comfortable than I've ever seen him in any offense that he's been in. Bringing back Keenan Allen, aka Third and Keenan, bringing back Third and Keenan back, it gives him a calm on down and distance that he can be. He always knows 13 is going to be open if he just throws it his way. And then you see the emergence of a guy that I had written off. I was ready to give up on completely. And Quentin, I used to call him Quentin Dropson, but Quentin Johnson is now emerging as somebody to maybe a viable threat that you add to Keenan Allen, that you add to Ladd McConkey. And all that being said, their first round running back hasn't even really gotten off yet. He hasn't even found his footing. So right now, I'm pleased with what's going on in LA. The defense is looking stout. We did lose Khalil Mack this past week with an elbow injury, but he's not out for the season. They put him on IR because they think he can be back in a month. But that's going to hurt, But I like what I'm seeing so far out of my Chargers. This week is going to be a test. We got Denver's coming in.
We got Denver coming in off a loss
That's
last week.
test.
Their defense got exposed. Trip, what do you think? Do the Chargers deserve to be the AFC favorites right now? Not only are they 2-0, you could say both those games really were on the road against divisional opponents. So to win those 2 games, I thought was impressive.
Well, you'll be happy to know. I believe I picked the Chargers this week to win.
All 3 of us did, yeah.
Game. But do I think they deserve to be the AFC West favorites? No, I can't. It's just like Patrick Mahomes is still breathing, right? That's just how I feel about the FC West. It's like if Patrick Mahomes still got breath in his lungs, then the Chiefs are the favorites to win.
Look, and let's adjust the question then, since you said that.
Mm-hmm.
At what point do we start to get worried about the Kansas City Chiefs? Because not only are they 0-2, right? Granted, they got the Giants this week. They should beat the Giants. After that Giant game, they got the Ravens. It's very possible they could be 1-3 by the end of this month.
Yeah. I'll
So at
probably
what point
say
at what point do we say, all right, the Chiefs they not have it this year?
well, and it's something that you and I talked about, Eric. You know, them actually making a trade for a wide receiver. I think that is probably going to wind up being the case, and if that happens, then that would completely turn around the outlook of the season. But yeah, it could be a rough start because you do have the Ravens coming up right after the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still we're 2 weeks into the season, so you know, I've seen Patrick Mahomes do some crazy things, so I can't just write him off after 2 games and just automatically hand over the AFC West to the Chargers. And the Chiefs done won a division how many straight years now?
Well, Mahomes has been a starting quarterback there. I want to say 7 years now.
They won it all up.
They won a division every year. I don't think this is about writing off Patrick Mahomes, though.
It's not.
I think the statement I made to you on Sunday holds true. They're gonna have, and I text both you guys, they're gonna have to make a trade for a receiver. They just can't get open down the field. Nobody gets any type of separation. And if you look at the drives that they had against Philly, like people will point, oh, well, if Kelsey don't drop that pass, that was a 14-play drive. You know how perfect you got to be to execute a 14-play drive and score? Like that. That's why teams do that to you. That's why teams will sit in that shell coverage and force you to be perfect down the field because they know all it takes is one missed assignment, one drop pass, and the drive is over. So every drive, that's what it's looking like for the Chiefs right now. Will, you played them. Are you aware that Patrick Mahomes is their leading rusher right now after 2 games?
Wow, I did not know that.
He's got 140 yards rushing. He's their leading rusher.
Now,
is that on
the O-line or is that on the running backs?
That's on the running backs more than the O-line. But the fact remains, they don't move the ball the way they used to. Yeah. They were a team 3 years ago. Through Patrick Mahomes' first 3 years, they averaged anywhere from 27 to 29 points. Mm-hmm. The last 3 years, they've averaged 22, 21, and 21 points. That's almost a full touchdown less than what you were doing before. They are struggling to score the way they used to score. And because teams know it, teams are playing them differently now. So that's why I say I don't think it's about Mahomes. I just think the team as a whole may not be as good.
Well, it's the Travis Kelce effect, right? Because 3 years ago, we still looked at Travis Kelce as an elite tight end. And as he gets older and become farther removed from that all-pro tight end who could put you in a position to where it didn't matter if you only had a number 2 receiver, if you only had a number 3 receiver, because Travis Kelce is there playing at an elite level. But now, when he's not playing at an elite level, everything else is affected. Everything else gets exposed because now you could throw eight guys in the box and shut down the running game. You could,
but it's not just the diminishing play of Travis Kelce. Like I said, even when he was good 3 years ago, their points were already starting to dwindle. The way teams,
because they didn't have a number one right. receiver, but they were lucky enough to have Kelce at an elite level to where it could take place of some of that stuff that they were missing without having a number one receiver. But now they don't have Kelce at an elite level or a legitimate number 1. I don't even know if they got a legitimate number 2 receiver, to be honest with you.
Well, when Rashee Rice comes back, that changes things. But you're hoping, and when I say here, I mean the Chiefs. You're hoping that Rashee Rice comes in and he's 100% ready to go.
And that's asking for a lot because you still got to get yourself game shape first. And they'd already
right. By the time he hits the field, he would have been out for a year. Right. By the time he hits the field, he would have been out of football for the last year.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, you was about to say something.
When we talk about, you say they need to trade for a receiver. Could there be? I don't want it, but could there be a reunion?
I think so.
Because Tyreek wants up out of there. Tyreek wants up out of Miami.
As much as I would love him for him to come to the Ravens, I think it's going to be he going back to Kansas City where he's used to winning at.
And I don't. Y'all know I don't want that to happen. Mm-hmm. But
that's.
I think it makes so much sense.
Question again after that. If they get Tyreek Hill, we're going to ask this question again.
Well, listen. if they get now. Again, we're having this conversation week 2, right? Just keep in mind, last year, after 2 weeks, the Ravens were 0-2. We were wondering what's going on with the Ravens. They got hot after that. and the Ravens were a play or two away from possibly being in the AFC Championship game last year, right?
Yeah.
So we know this thing could change quick. In a month, we could be talking about them differently. A month from now, when Xavier Worthy's healthy and they got Rashee Rice back, and if they were to make a move for Tyreek Hill, then we're talking about the receivers completely different at that point. Now it's a completely different receiver room. But as it stands today, and to the point I was going to make to you, Trip, yes, when Travis Kelce was at his best, even if you didn't have receivers, you could find a way. But it was still a struggle for them to score then.
Yeah.
Teams were figuring out that, look, we're going to make Mahomes throw everything underneath. And I think some of this started even when right at the end when Tyreek was there, because even the way the Bengals beat them in the AFC Championship game was a lot of, we're going to make you throw underneath and just have to settle for that stuff. And then you got to hope that you're perfect. Again, you can't have no drop passes. You can't have no penalties. You can't have no fumbles. You got to be perfect. I think the league is caught up to the Chiefs. And I love Patrick Mahomes. I still think he is the best quarterback in the game. No disrespect to nobody else. But I think that because of the lack of receivers, the league has caught up to them. The Chargers defense made it look way too easy in that game. The Eagles defense made it look way too. I don't even think the Eagles played good on Sunday.
And listen, I'm gonna tell you why that is. You know why that is? Because we laid out the blueprint, and I brought it up last week. If you remember, we laid out the blueprint in Philadelphia. If Philadelphia had the safeties to do it, if you got young athletic safeties that can run and cover, all you got to do is bring them up on the box on Kelce now, and it's a wrap. Derwin James did it week 1, and then you had a combination week 2 with the I always forget their names. Those white DBs they got.
Cooper DeJean and Blankenship.
Yeah, and Blankenship. You can walk both of them up walk both of them up in the box and guard him one-on-one because he don't have that burst. He's not going to run by you anymore. And if you got a safety with fluid hips, pause, and it can cover, then you can shut Travis Kelce down at this stage in his career.
Yeah, I think they got some issues, and we can get to it now. I expect the Chiefs to beat the Giants, and I picked them to cover the 6.5. But if the Giant pass rush starts disrupting things, if their second, especially if Worthy don't play, if their secondary can hold up a little bit, the Giants might be able to make this game interesting.
Yeah,
just purely off their pass rush, because like I said, Kansas City, their receivers do not get any separation. I would not be surprised if early in the game, Brian Burns and those guys kind of disrupt things early. I expect the Chiefs to win. They're going to be in desperation mode. But even taking them at 6.5, I was skeptical because the Chiefs ain't even when they've been winning lately, they don't even cover games.
Yeah.
Everything is a nail biter with them. So we got to see. Kyrie also, hold on. Let's go to Ron. Time for the Texans to panic. They are 0-2. Tough loss on Monday night against the Bucs. They got a tough matchup this week against divisional opponent, the Jags. The Jags should be 2-0. They found a way to blow that game against the Bengals, even though the Bengals backup quarterback threw. Somehow the backup quarterback came in halfway through the game and still threw 3 interceptions, and you still couldn't beat it. Yeah. But, Will, is it time for the Texans to panic?
No. And I say no because I feel like this is going to be a get-right game for the Texans. The Jaguars, I don't know what it is about that franchise, but I just feel like it feels like a franchise that just goes through the motions. Like it's like, I don't know, it's like I don't feel like they're trying to win. You know what I mean? It's like you don't think about Jacksonville Jaguars as trying to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It feels like an NFL franchise that's just trying to operate.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It just feels like a team that has an owner that's happy to be have a piece of the NFL pie. You know what I'm saying? And it's just happy to operate. I think this is a good.
They let Jack Del Rio stay in there for damn near 20 years.
Yeah,
so you know they ain't trying to win.
Exactly. And and he on the sideline with a fucking leather jacket on in Jacksonville. In Jacksonville, Florida. So you know someone's right down there just off the strip of that. You know what I'm saying? It's like it wasn't gel, it had to be sweat from the leather. You know what I'm saying? From rocking that leather in the Jacksonville Heat. But I think the Texans defense is good enough to where they can cause enough problems for the Jaguars offense. Trevor Lawrence, he's one of those guys that if his name was Trevon Lawrence, he would not still be a starting quarterback in this league. He would not still be getting opportunities over and over and over again. He's not we know who he is now. And coming out of college, he was propped up. He was supposed to be that one.
He was.
And I feel like he survived just off of that. But I think also if he was on another team that wasn't just trying to operate and turn ticket styles, then he'd probably be up out of there too. The Texans are a team that are really trying to compete in their division. They've got a quarterback in C.J. Stroud that he's up and down, but I feel like when I watch them play, and like when you look at the behind the scenes stuff on how he tries to prepare, I really feel like they do have a leader in him, but a few more things need to come together. And they have a leader in him, and I think their head coach, D'Amico Ryans, being an ex-player, being a player's coach, and being a guy that's young enough that can relate to these dudes now, I think they're in a good position there as well. So the matchup-wise, I think the Texans have way too many. Like when you do a positive and negative check-off list, I think the Texans have way more positives than they do negatives in comparison to the Jaguars. So I'm gonna take the Texans, and I don't think it's gonna be a close game. I think I could see them winning by 8 or more.
Trip, you got the Jags. Give me your perspective on this one. And do you think it is time for panic in Houston?
I'm not gonna say it's time for panic in Houston because they still have to get, because remember everybody's been injured on this team, so they still haven't gotten a good solid rhythm. So I'm not gonna say just yet, but if we get to the midway point of the season and they're under 500, the offense hasn't been clicking, then I would say yes, it is time to panic. I'm not sure exactly how they will be able to shake things up to get back to where they were 2 years ago, because they have some really good pieces on the defensive side of the football. One of the better linemen in the league, and on that line. Obviously, they got CJ Stroud on the offensive side. Nico Collins is really good, but they just can't stay healthy. I mean, they got Nick Chubb there, who's also an injury-prone running back, but you're missing out on Joe Mixon right now. The receivers are always in and out of the lineup, so they can't seem to catch a break. But again, like I said, I would like to see them get a healthy and get a couple of weeks of chemistry in. But as far as this week, both these teams are horrible right now, the Jaguars and the Texans. So I'm just kind of taking the best of both worlds kind of situation. I just think Jacksonville's running game right now is better than what the Texans are putting out there. And I just think that's going to make the difference in this week's game. That's why I'm picking the Jaguars, but they're both horrible teams, so it's really a coin.
Yeah, I mean,
it
is.
Trip. Hey, Trip, if it was in Houston, who would you pick? Houston.
I'll pick Houston.
Yeah, so this a pick 'em basically.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that. I'm with you.
Who gets to sleep in their own bed the night before? That's what I'm picking, right?
Yeah.
The Texans this is a tough situation, and they got to win. They're 0-2. Granted, it is their first division game, but if you go 0-3 and then you're that far behind in the division, it gets very tricky if you want to make the playoffs. This is what concerns me the most about the Texans, because we all agree we're going to talk about the defense. The defense is really, really good. The defense is giving up 34 points through 2 games. The problem is their offense has only scored 28 points through 2 games. Now, this is an offense that got C.J. Stroud, that got Nico Collins. You expect them to do more than that. Their defense did what they were supposed to do against the Rams, gave up 19 points there. Their defense did what they were supposed to do against the Buccaneers. You know what I'm saying? But their offense isn't giving them anything. And so this is probably the week to get right. The Jaguars don't have a tough defense. We know that. So if you can't get right against the Jaguars, then you probably got bigger issues. I like the Texans. I think this is kind of a desperation game for them. So I'm picking the Texans, man. Kyrie wants to know, are we buying that Jalen Hurts is underrated? I don't know why we're still having this conversation about Jalen Hurts being underrated.
Wait, when did we say he was underrated?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming this is a reference.
Man, I don't think
I'm
he's a top
assuming-
five quarterback,
I'm-
but I don't think he's underrated either.
I'm assuming this is in reference to what Cam Newton had to say about him this year.
But even Cam didn't say he was underrated. He just
I guess Cam was saying he was overrated, underrated. To me, I
think he's rated right where he's supposed to be. I think
Yeah, I don't know.
he's a top 10 quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he can affect winning. Obviously, you know what I mean. He can run with the football. He can pass the football. You know, when you need him to put up 300, 400, 500 yards, he can do that for you. If you need him to run the football, he can do that for you. So you know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's underrated. I don't think he's overrated. I think he's rated where he should be.
yeah, got him pissed Will off to the point where he want to go cook something now. I heard the stove clicking on. He cooking up. Yeah, I don't think he's underrated. I think he's probably rated. Nah, I muted you real quick because we heard the stove coming on there. Well, that's all it was.
My bad. He's rated. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's what was the question? Underrated?
Yeah, I don't think he's underrated.
Nah, he's definitely underrated. He ain't underrated.
Let's get to this. Listen, shout out to Von Bucks. I see your question. We're gonna circle back to that. And then somebody also wanted us to talk about the whole Dame situation on the Breakfast Club, if y'all saw it.
Oh Lord.
Yo, that was comedy.
All right, so let's do a couple more football ones. Hold on. We're gonna do a couple football joints and then we'll get to the Dame joint then. Because I'm gonna have the pick scrolling across the bottom of the screen anyway, so we can do that. Should the tush push be outlawed? True.
No. And I'm not an Eagles fan. You know, I'm the farthest from an Eagles fan, but no, it ain't nothing but a QB sneak. If you got a problem,
no, it's not a QB sneak. It's not a QB sneak. There's a difference between a QB sneak and a tush push.
When they on damn,
everybody can do it.
No, everybody can do it. I never said everybody couldn't do it, but I'm saying there's a difference between a QB sneak and a tush push because a QB sneak, if you get stopped at the line, there's no momentum for you to go forward. With a tush push, you have two guys pushing you over the line that allows your momentum to keep moving forward. So it is a little different. But
everybody can do it.
Yeah,
but everybody can do the same.
Yeah, I didn't
My answer is going to be everybody can do it. For anything you can say about the tush push, but everybody can do it. It's not exclusive to the Eagles.
I agree. Right. It's not anybody can do it. There's nothing
they figured out
teams for doing it.
They figured out a cheat code, and now the league need to catch up.
I wouldn't even call it a cheat code because guess what? If you play good enough defense on first, second down, then the tush push gets eliminated.
The reason I say it's a cheat code is like they changed the game with that. Like Steph Curry was a cheat code. That's what I mean. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. They figured it out. They do it better than anybody else does. And so you want to take it away because you can't fucking match it? No, let the motherfuckers live. If they got that, then they got that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm 1,000% against. And then when they say they take it to a vote and it only missed by 2 votes, and my team was one of the teams voted against it, I was embarrassed by that. That's soft. That's soft as shit. If you say, "Oh,
the only
I can't do it, so I don't want it to be legal."
The only legitimate argument that I've heard against the tush push is that, well, there's 2. One, everybody made a big stink about the way the Colts won this week, right? Because the whole point was, you can't leverage the lineman to jump over the block, the field goal or punt, right? That's been a rule for a few years. But on the tush push, you allow leverage. You allow the offensive player to leverage because if you look at the interior linemen, they all go low so that he can get over the pile. So the only debate that anybody can make is saying, hey, you're not allowing leverage for the defense, but you're allowing it for the offense. So therefore, it creates an unfair advantage because defensive players can't go low in that way. Y'all don't allow them to do that, and y'all don't allow them to pile on top of the center because y'all say it's detrimental and that the center could get hurt. So it's like you're allowing defensive players. I mean, you're allowing the offensive players to do it, but you're not allowing the defensive players to do it. That would be the only logical debate anybody could make against it. The other thing I heard, which I don't completely agree with, Chris Jones talked about it this week, where he was saying you got guys lining up off sides doing the tush push, right? Because again, everybody's trying to gain leverage. To me, that's on the refs. If guys are lining up off sides, the ref got to call it. Simple as that.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, but again, that's on the ref to call it. If the ref is looking down the line and he's okay with where everybody's lined up, then it is what it is.
Yeah.
Hey, riddle me this, and I'm just spitballing. Pause. But if the Bills were mastering the tush push, do you think it would be cause for it to go away? If Josh Allen and his O-line could achieve the tush push every time? I'm just asking for a friend. Do you think it would be looked at as do you think it would be looked at the way it's looked at now if the Bills were doing it?
I think if they had enough success doing it, it would.
Yeah. I think it's more about the success.
Yeah, it's more about the success
have had than who's actually running the play.
So we want to make sure that it's about the success of the play and not the success of the player running the play.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm always making.
The reason I say that is because the reason I say that is because the reason that cornerbacks can't get physical with receivers anymore is because the Patriots were so good at it and they used to beat up on the Colts receivers. The Colts complained to the league and then the league changed it.
Yep. That's okay.
So I think like to that point. Now, if the Eagles weren't winning anything, but that was like a gimmicky play, then we would just laugh about it, like, they're not winning it. But because they're successful, of course, people gonna bitch and moan about it. It's the showdown this Sunday.
Oh, my bad.
No, it's a showdown this Sunday. But Tito wants to know, I guess, long term throughout the course of the season, are the Rams the biggest challenge to the Eagles in the NFC?
Nope.
Who would you say is the biggest challenge, bro?
Green Bay.
Trip.
Yeah, it's definitely Green Bay.
I think Green Bay's clicking right now. I would agree. I got Green Bay. Now, in terms of this week's game, I got the Rams winning it. And the crazy thing is all three of us like the Rams this week.
Yeah.
But we're talking about a game as opposed to the biggest.
Yeah, of course, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
You can still win during the season. That don't mean when it comes playoff time. I just think they about due. And I think the Rams can still win here.
Now, don't forget about it. Let's look. The Lions came out last week and said, "Hey."
Mm-hmm.
They said, "Hey," and that's something to think about a little bit. That Lions Bears game last week. I think that's probably one of the games I got wrong. Did I pick? I might pick the Bears.
Yeah, you had the Bears. I remember we had the conversation because you felt that Ben Johnson knowing that defense was going to have advantages there.
Yeah, and it was the complete oppo. It was complete oppo. You know what I'm saying? Like it was. I'm like, God, that was concern. Like for the Bears, that's the Bears are they down bad right now. Bears fans, y'all down bad right now because you thought you were getting the offensive guru.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to turn things around. You had the first pick in the draft last year. Receipts say right now you picked the wrong guy.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I'll take it one further. If we look back at that draft, right? So we know Jaden Daniels is the next quarterback taken. Bo Nix has been off to a better career so far. Who's the other quarterback that went in that draft? Michael Penix.
Wasn't he in that one too?
Yeah, Michael Penix. His career has gotten off to a better start. JJ is still too early. He's only 2 starts in.
And he got hurt.
I like JJ.
You can make the case that just off the rookies from that class that played, Caleb might have been the 4th best quarterback.
Yeah, man.
Because like I said, Jaden, Bo Nix, and Michael Penix have all played really well to start their career.
And this is where we need to be honest with ourselves. All of us as fans, as guys like us that, you know, we delve deep in this stuff, pause. We delve deep into all, you know, the aspects of this game. We were talking about at one time, you know, like Caden Williams, like with the Bears, he could be nice, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, he was the number one overall pick, and there were a lot of people, and outside of us pundits, he was the guy, you know. So then we fast forward to now, and it's the Bears are. It's almost like, I mean, it's only week 2, so you know, but this is what we do. We do a week to week show.
It's not just it's just not week 2 though. Well, it's how bad he's looked.
But yeah, they look horrible. He looks horrible, and I keep bringing up. It's the small things that can happen, and you know, Eric, I always bring up the Hail Jayton game. That Hail Mary that the Commanders were able to pull off against the Bears, see, people forget Caleb had just driven the Bears down to take the lead.
Mm-hmm.
With like under a minute left.
But he didn't play good in that game either though.
But we needed that moment from him. You know what I mean? We needed that drive from him. And then after that drive, everybody was like, okay, that's what we needed to see. And then the Hail Mary came, you know, one of the worst defended Hail Marys in NFL history. And they basically had the same record at the time. The Washington goes to the playoffs and takes off, gets all the way to the NFC Championship, and the Bears fizzle out. It's like if the end of that game was reversed, I think you could have seen a different trajectory. And that's how small,
I mean,
the opportunities are in this league. It's like it's that minute. It's that small, the trajectory of how your season can go, how your career can go, and how you are perceived. If the Bears won that game, which they should have, then we would have looked at the Bears as a whole different way. We would have looked at Jayden Daniels differently. We would have looked at Caleb Williams differently.
I think their season does go different. No, I do agree that their season goes different if they win that game. But I don't know how it would have affected this year because Matt Eberflus was probably going to get fired anyway. Right?
Because they wanted the offensive guy to bring up.
They wanted the offensive guy to come in and help develop.
Yeah.
What's I guess, like I said, the most stunning part of all this is you bring in Ben Johnson, and Caleb has probably looked worse with Ben Johnson than he did last year.
That's the alarming thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And mind you, you bring in Ben Johnson. So you had a whole offseason to work with Ben Johnson. You had a whole offseason to get comfortable with the offense. And then you come in and you look terrible through 2 games. You almost look like you guys just met last week. Like you don't know the offense at all. And then we talked about that report last week about is he dyslexic and he's having trouble with the playbook. There's more stuff that's been coming out this week where they was like, a lot of guys in the locker room don't even like Caleb. They feel like he's a selfish guy who doesn't take criticism very well. So you have all these things now where you start to question, like, how does this young dude, how can he recover from all this? Because if he loses that locker room, there is no recovering from it.
I heard this lost.
Right. So there you go. To take it a step further, if that locker room is lost, then even if we say that, how does he recover? Because you're already not playing well. It's not like you're one of those guys who's playing well, but they like, man, I can't stand him. He's selfish, but fuck it, he balling out. You not playing well. So guys are not going to sacrifice and ball out for you.
They say that he's not a guy that those guys in the locker room want to be behind.
Yeah.
And want to follow. And if guys can't respect your quarterback, there needs to be a change made. And the only change is the quarterback.
You know what's
and it's
crazy?
A change because it's only year 2. It's only year 2.
It's only year 2. But you know what's odd, right? When Taylor Bagent got that money, right? And they had the clip of him crying, you know, telling his backstory. The way the coaching staff talked about Taylor Bagent, you would have thought he was the starting quarterback. Because there was guys that were genuinely happy that the backup quarterback got his money as if like he was supposed to be that leader of the future. And maybe that was the first sign to show like, yo, they probably rock with him more than they rock with Caleb if they that excited about their backup quarterback getting a contract.
Yeah, that's exactly that. It's being behind. Like we look at it, like a lot of people look at it from the outside as fans. We look at it as how can you perform and what can you do? But at the same time, we got to remember these are real people like us. You know what I'm saying? You gotta. It's a certain level of respect that you pay to one another, and you know that goes a million miles past talent sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Okay, if you ready to go to war with a dude, that might not be a 5-star recruit. He might be a 3-star guy, but he's fighting his ass off, and he got your back. And respects you. You gonna go to war for that dude harder or as hard as he's going for you because he's trying to. I was. Hey,
you said harder and harder for that guy.
Yeah. Yo.
No, okay, I know what you mean,
bro. Somewhere Cameron's head exploded like the dude on the Dave Chappelle on the Dave Chappelle skit, the blind black supremacists. I mean, the blind white supremacists.
But you're right though, because it makes you want to give the extra effort.
Yeah, you want to fight. You want to go to battle with them. You want to go to battle with them. So that's where the difference lies, for sure.
Kyrie said, "Is Caleb a bad fit?" He said, "Is Caleb a bad fit with the new head coach?" I don't think it's a bad fit with the new head coach. I just don't think Caleb has made the adjustments yet. Trip, you on mute. I can't hear you, bro. I can't hear you, Trip.
He's just a bad pick for the NFL. Period.
No, not for the NFL. I just don't think that Caleb has put in the work to adjust to his head coach. Yeah. Ben Johnson's work speaks for itself. This is a situation I think is going to turn out similar to what we saw in Cleveland. Uh-huh. If Stefanski could make the playoffs with Baker Mayfield, with Joe Flacco, right, and win Coach of the Year, and then you get Deshaun, and Deshaun struggles, and then the moment Deshaun goes out, the next guy who steps in. When they brought Jameis in, the offense looked better. When they brought Flacco in, the offense looked better. That's not to say that Deshaun isn't a great talent, but at some point you got to look at the guy and be like, yo, the problem isn't the head coach. The problem is you. You can't execute this game plan. Because if I can win ball games with other guys who are of lesser talent, then the problem isn't the scheme. The problem is the player just can't execute it. Same thing, Caleb Williams. If you put Caleb Williams and Jared Goff just on the field throwing the football, you can see all the talent from Caleb. You can tell he got the stronger arm. He's a better athlete. But why is Jared Goff able to succeed in this offense and you struggling?
Yeah,
he got to put in the work. He got to buy in. I think if he does that, then maybe we see different results. But right now, it's not looking good for Caleb. We're gonna go through some of these quick, and then we're gonna get to that Dame appearance on Breakfast Club. I'm gonna let the pick scroll across the bottom as well for you guys, so you can see who we got this week. Hold on before we do that. Oh, actually, let's do the best game of the week. Lions at Baltimore. Trip, I'm gonna start with you. Lions 1-1, Ravens 1-1. Both these teams look good last week, put up a lot of points. I know you like Baltimore, but what are you expecting to see in this game?
Hopefully Derrick Henry getting back to being Derrick Henry. He fumbled the football 2 weeks ago and he ain't been the same since. So, but I got the Ravens in this game at home. I think we can get back to normal and running the football all over everybody. And the Ravens get the win.
All right, Trip. I'm gonna let you rock. So I know you got to get up out of here, bro.
Appreciate y'all. Yo, fellas, y'all have a good one.
Trip.
Likewise, bro. I'm gonna have the pick scrolling across the bottom. Will,
I'll let you, Trip.
Yes, sir.
Will, you said you like the Ravens as well this week. Tell me what you're seeing.
Oh yeah, I like. I just like Lamar way better than anything Detroit's coming to Baltimore with this week. Pause. So it's going to be. I think this is going to be a comfortable win. I'm looking at something like 27-17, but I like the Ravens all day.
I'm taking the Lions and the points. They're getting 4.5 points. The main reason is a lot of these games the last 3 years with the Ravens on prime time have been close games, especially against good teams. They don't really blow out good teams. They'll beat you, but a lot of these games are close. They come down to the final possession. And I also think that the Lions kind of found their swagger last week. We talked about it after they lost to Green Bay. I expected them to find their swagger. So I think that's where they're at. I take the 4.5 points. I do like the Ravens to win, but I would take the 4.5.
Okay.
Kyrie wants to know, could Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers win the next 4 games? Will their next 4 opponents? They're at New England this week. Then they got to go to Dublin to face the Vikings. They get a week off. Then they come home to play the Browns, and then they get the Bengals. That's their next 4. Do you think they win the next 4?
No. I think they win the next 3. But I don't think they have enough offense to match Cincinnati at the end of that run, because even though Joe Burrow's out, I think that quarterback's capable enough with those receivers they got, and with the Browns. Not the Browns. The Bengals outside offensive line are a good team. I think that's where they lose. It's that game. But are they good enough to win, to go 3-1 in that stretch? Absolutely. I like the Steelers. Look, a lot of people sleep on the Steelers. A lot of people want Mike Tomlin out of there. I'm not one of those guys. I think Mike Tomlin has been a dude that's been able to make the playoffs with garbage at quarterback for ever since Ben Roethlisberger left. And now you got a Hall of Famer at quarterback where with your system, you're only going to ask him to make the right play. You're not going to ask him to elevate you to you're not going to put the team on his back behind your defense and behind your system. All you need him to do is make the right play. And that is what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. I love Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's going to be in the playoffs this year, people. Again, and they're going to be a problem. Just know that. I
don't have them making the playoffs this year. You and I don't agree on a quarterback. I love the coach. I still like the defense. Week 1, Aaron Rodgers looked good. Last week, he didn't look good. Now, Seattle, that's a good defense. So maybe that was just one of those games where you struggle against a really good defense, and we'll see.
But they get the advantage. They get the advantage of playing the Browns twice, and they get the advantage of playing the Bengals defense twice.
Yeah, I know. I still, like I said, I'm still not. I'm not sold on them to win more than 9 games, and I think it might take more than 9 games to get that last spot in the AFC. I don't have them winning all their next 4 games. I think that Dublin game is a little tough for them because that's a short week. You're playing the Patriots this week, and then you got to go to Dublin next week. You don't get the week off. So I think that becomes a tricky game. I think the Browns and Bengals games, those are still tricky because those are division rivals. And because Pittsburgh isn't a high-scoring offense, all those games are going to be close and competitive. So 2-2, 3-1. 2-2, 3-1 is very possible for them, but it starts this week. They got to beat the Patriots. If they lose to the Patriots, I think that Dublin game, again, becomes very tough because that's a short week to fly over there to have to play the Vikings, who are a good team and have a good defense. What else we got real quick? Because I want to get to this Dame joint. Kyrie, the reason we don't get the other ones out the way first is because we're trying to get as much stuff in there within an hour and a half, man. We ain't trying to be here on 2 hours. Let's see what else. All right, let's get to the Dame joint. Von Buck said potentially 5 backup quarterbacks will start in week 3. Yeah, the injury bug is already going around, man. Brock Purdy is still questionable, I believe, for this week. We know Joe Burrow's out. Justin Fields is out this week.
Yep. Hey, Eric. So you know how I talk about my big money league, my big money fantasy, the 250 buy-in. I got 2 quarterbacks on that team, right? My starter is Joe Burrow, and my backup is Justin Fields.
It's time for the waiver.
Yeah. Oh, I hit it up already. Waivers clear yesterday, but goddamn, bro, fantasy is a cruel motherfucker, ain't it?
And it's only week 3.
And hey, I'm in 3 leagues, including ours, right? I'm on 6 across 3 platforms. Man. Yeah, man.
Well,
man.
long season. All right.
I'm playing for fun now at this point.
Let's do this. We're gonna lighten things up. All right. We got the picks across the bottom of the screen. As always, guys, make sure y'all rocking with us every Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. over on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Shoot us a like, shoot us a comment. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. And on Monday, 7 p.m., we'll be back. Trip Young and myself, Real Fans, Real Talk. Make sure you subscribe over there. But let's get to what everybody's talking about. It's something that we weren't sure we were going to talk about tonight, but since it came up in the comment section, I know we're going to have a lot of opinions on it because we are the opinionated ones, right, Will?
Absolutely.
Did y'all see Dame Dash go off on the Breakfast Club? Shout out to Kyrie for the question. Go ahead, Will. I'm gonna let you guys.
I watched it. I was sending it. Man.
I watched it, and then I even today I watched a little bit of Cam's response to some of the things that Dame said.
So I didn't get to see the Cam responses yet, but Dame been a clown to me for years. So the irony.
Yeah, you wearing the Aaliyah shirt.
Yo, this is not. That was not playing. I was like, as we talking about, I was like, oh wait a minute, his old girl or whatever. But Dame been a clown to me for years, man. And that Breakfast Club interview, I knew it was gonna be one of those because of what Dame's going through. If you've ever followed this dude and his career and all that, he's not he thinks he's a mogul and this businessman and all that, but a lot of his shit falls flat. Like he's like the hip hop Trump.
I mean, he took enjoyment in that comparison during the interview.
Yeah. Oh, did they bring that up?
Yeah.
I didn't. I might have been
when
doing something else.
When Charlemagne mentioned, he tried to use that as a reference point because he goes, "Oh, Trump filed for bankruptcy 7 times. And he became president of the United States." And then Charlemagne said, "Yeah, and he's a terrible businessman." And then he was like, "Yeah, that being a terrible businessman."
Oh, my mom, I did not know they went there.
Yeah.
Good for you, Charlemagne, because I saw the parts I watched was when he was calling when he was on that old school punk dude stuff like, yeah, you gay and all that. Like that's the part that I saw. Well, I saw a lot of the stuff when he's talking about Jay, and the thing about Dame Dash is I felt like everybody got that dude in their crew that like he thinks he's the man, and you only keep him around. You only keep him around because you like knew him since you was like 5. But nobody else likes him. You know what I'm saying? But he think he the man because he been riding with you since then. He give me that kind of energy. Like he feel like he needs to be here because he's supposed to be here. Yep. When nobody else thinks he's supposed to be here. So, but you feel like you're supposed to be in this space. And the thing about Dame Dash is he can have a lot of positive influence on the industry, on the dudes coming up, on the dudes that are here now. He just got so much pent up aggression and feeling like a victim of your bad decisions. Like you feel like your bad decisions are our fault. No, it's your fault. It's not the industry's fault. It's not your audience's fault. It's none of that. Like you fucked up, and we supposed to give you a pass for what? When people fuck up, they fuck up. You Dame. Oh, you used to be Jay-Z's right hand. He don't fuck with you at all, bro. So what do you think everybody else gonna do? You ain't him, and clearly you weren't. And then you go to the Breakfast Club and attack Charlemagne for what? Charlemagne is who he is. No, I don't think me or you look at Charlemagne as a speaker for the culture.
No.
Or you know what I'm saying? He's a guy. He's a guy with a job. You know what I'm saying? He's the hip hop Skip Bayless. So I mean, for real.
Yeah,
His job is to push the buttons. You know what I'm saying? His job is to push your button. He did that. You came out. He makes you come out of your own character that you say you the character you claim. He made you come out of character and look like a fool. Like he's laughing at you the whole time. The whole time you think you throwing darts at him, he's like, okay.
He's laughing.
Here's another reel. Here's something else I can cut up. Here's another clip I can put out and boost my shit. Keep talking your dumb shit, and I'm gonna keep getting paid.
He's laughing because you're proving him right.
Yes, the whole time.
There's a couple things, and I hate that this is what it's come to for Dame Dash, because this is what he's gonna be remembered as. He's gonna be remembered as this dude who had the oversized ego, who had a big fucking mouth, who his claim to fame is being attached to Jay-Z. Since him and Jay-Z have split up, he has contributed very little to the culture. Now, let him tell it, he's still impacting the culture. But when you look at it, it's like, yo, you haven't really done it. We see where Jay's career is going since he got away from you, and we see where your career is gone. Right? But he sits there and tries to justify, oh, I'm filing for bankruptcy because that's a smart business move. Okay, it is. No, hold on, hear me out. Right? There are a lot of successful people who, when they fall behind on debt,
yes,
right, they do it.
Because they got that bounce back money.
Right. But he sat there and the girl, damn, what's her name? Larissa something. She asked him, she goes, all right, so yeah, it's like $20 million in taxes, right? But there's also a part in there that you owe over $600,000 in back child support.
Yeah.
Because he loved talking about his family, and everything I do is for my family, leave a legacy, right? He talks so much, he forget the lie he's telling, because he's like, oh, they exaggerating. Then he keeps talking, and he says, I paid like $200,000 in child support every year. So if they say you owe $6 million, that means you ain't paid in 3 years. So you could try to hide the tax money all you want and say, oh, look, they coming for me on a debt that isn't really old or is inflated, whatever. But why are they coming at you for the child support if you're such a big family man? If you taking care of your family, right? Then he gonna say, oh, I'm the chairman of Revolt in the process of trying to buy Revolt. Revolt came out literally hours after the interview and was like, that's a lie. They was like, he's not in no process of buying Revolt. And then he thought he was exposing text messages to show like some secret conversation. The only thing they talked about was they was gonna give him a show on Revolt, to which Cam spoke about. And Cam said the reason they was gonna give Dame a show was because Cam vouched for him. He talked about how, for people that may not realize this, the fiscal year ends in September, starts over in October. So they had already decided on their shows for the next fiscal year. They only had 2 slots left. Cam had say so on both those slots. And Cam had said he reached out through Big Fendi and was like, yo, if Dame want one of them slots, he could take one of the slots and bring a show over. But again, Dame's ego so large because he on this whole, I got to be my own boss. Can't nobody tell me what to do. He didn't want the slot. He wanted a seat, a bigger seat at the network. Bless you. He wanted a bigger seat at the network. And then it exaggerated like, oh, I'm trying to buy Revolt. My first question, I'm like, how you buying Revolt if you filing for bankruptcy?
Right. That's a
right. You can't purchase. You can't make no large purchases like that when you file for bankruptcy. Yeah. So again, he talking out of both sides of his mouth and not realizing he lying the whole time. Then you picking fights with people just because they don't agree with you. He loved making it seem like he the only one that know about business. He loved making it seem like he the only one that know what it takes to be successful. Bro, you have been filing or dealing with this level of debt for 15 years now. This ain't the first time that one of his baby moms said, yo, he ain't paid child support in 2 years. This ain't the first time. He was trying to sell his part of the Rockefeller catalog, which is worth millions of dollars for $1 million because he had an $800,000 debt that needed to be cleared. And they was going to seize his part of Rockefeller to cover the debt. He loved, you know what I'm saying? He'll love talking about other people, but then the moment somebody says, oh, you being a chatty patty, you discussing my pockets. Bro, you do that shit all the time. he literally sat there and was, like I said, I don't know what parts of it you saw, because I know you said you watched segments of it. He sat there and was shitting on Charlemagne and Envy, like, my house is probably bigger than yours. My view is up the water. I got 4 houses and all that. He's saying all that
I
shit.
saw that.
He's saying all that shit. But then when Charlemagne was like, oh, you should change your name to Dame Det, right?
Yeah, Dave.
Then it's like, oh, you a girl. What kind of man worries about another nigga's pockets? Bro, you was just sitting here trying to compare your house to another man.
Exactly. Yo, he contradicted himself the whole interview.
Right.
He's just a clown.
Right.
He's
You sitting here, you really sitting here. You really
and then he like, remember when he was like, man, I could, for real, if we wanted to hear, I'd punch you in your face and you wouldn't do nothing. No, you wouldn't, dog. Well, like, and if you did, if you would punch him in the face, I hope he would do something. Like, how you making that assumption, man? And why you taking it there? Why you even taking it there, boss?
Because he knew, because like I said, he knew he was
bosses punching bosses doing their own dirty work. I thought you was a boss. Ain't no way a boss is punching somebody in their face. You got gold for that.
Whenever Dame is frustrated or he's not winning, that's what it turns into. He did that the last time he was on the Breakfast Club. When he was trying to like diminish someone on some like, oh, y'all not bosses up here just because y'all think y'all successful because y'all been on the radio all these years. Like, yo, bro, you sitting here talking all this bullshit. And you 3 years behind on child support.
I'm gonna throw you a curveball real quick, cause enough of Dame. Fuck him.
Let's go. Let's yeah, it is.
What did you? I'm assuming you saw this. What do you think about Adrian Broner on Cam and Mace? Yesterday, was it yesterday or the day? This week, when he was trying to go at Stab Baby through the interview, and Cam had to get him up out of there. What did you see it? My question is, did you see it, and what are your thoughts?
So I saw the clips yesterday. When I was in the barbershop today, I actually saw the whole segment. So I saw what led up to when Cam finally said, yo, that's enough. I don't know. Did you watch the whole thing?
The whole thing.
Adrian
Broner was out of pocket like a motherfucker.
He was super out of pocket. Adrian Broner is another one that he had a point.
Another lane.
Yeah, he is at a point now where it's disgusting now. You know, because I thought Cam handled it right. Because in the beginning, you know, they laughing about it. All right, cool, it's funny. But I already told you once, like, yo, chill. And then
it's 2 lanes. I got two different thoughts on this. So one thing is, you're right. Cam handled it like the G's supposed to handle it. You know what I'm saying? Like a grown man supposed to handle that shit. He's like, yo, you out of pocket. I asked you once, twice. Right. You still on that bullshit. You know what? Cool, whatever. Here go your little change or whatever. Then I'm gonna pay you for your time. Get on up out of here, man. Cause you disrespected.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that was handled properly. I'm 1,000% behind the way he did that. But what people need to realize is, before I get into that, one thing I didn't like was it might have been nervous laughter from Stab Baby, but every time he was going at it, she kept them giggles kept him going. Them giggles were good.
She also said though, because when he walks AB out, she said she was like, I didn't know what else to say.
That's what I'm trying to say. It was probably nervous type shit. But to a dude that's drunk out here which you know, I don't know if you heard today, but Cam was like, you ain't here drunk in the morning, blah 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 blah. He sees like a drunk, like it's basically at this point it's a nigga in the club.
Yeah, but AB's still wrong for that though.
But I'm just talking about. Oh yeah, I'm not giving him no pass at all. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the way he's perceiving her giggles that are nervous and uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. He's thinking in his drunken state that it's flirtation.
Right.
But I'm not giving him a pass. I'm just saying, well, he shouldn't have kept going when Cam kept on telling him, yo, and her boyfriend. Remember, Cam's like, man, her boyfriend.
Her man is in here, yeah.
That's Cam's dude. Cam put her on to her boy. Like, that's Cam's man. Cam introduced them. So that's Cam folks. So that's why I think that took it to a whole nother level where, you know, like if her boyfriend was just some dude that she, you know, that Cam ain't know, but Cam introduced them. You know what I'm saying? Like that's his homie. So now I think that's where it took it to the point where it was like, you know what? And then he reached the, you know what I'm saying? He got the bag. He's like, you know what, homie? It's time to go ahead and step.
Yeah, appreciate your time. Yeah, I thought Cam handled it the best he could. I mean, you trying to. I think it's always tough in that situation because you trying to, you know what I'm saying, give the person the benefit of the doubt. Because like we saying, I'm sure in the beginning it's like, yo, I'm not gonna really say much, you know, he being flirty, cool, as long as you don't get disrespectful, cool. But then it gets to a point where it's like, all right, now enough is enough. Like now you're making everybody
every time he opened.
Yeah, every time you say
something. Every time he opened his mouth, it was about her.
Right, because now you put me in a position where I gotta say something now. So I thought Cam handled it the best he could. AB got to get help though, man. AB,
that's why they need. They need to bring that clip back. I ain't gonna lie, I got cooked.
I'm getting cooked.
Remember that?
Yeah. Nah, AB
bring that back, man. Bring that back.
He definitely needs some help, bro. He needs some help, man.
And I hate clowning him because it's obvious that he needs it. So people around him need to try to get him that. But if he don't want it, you know.
He helped though. Remember, he even got jammed up recently when they was like, yo, he was conning cats at the dice game when they was playing with loaded dice.
See, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like you can get unalive for that type shit.
What I'm saying, like, you know what type of behavior that is. You know what level of desperation and behavior that is, that you out there, you at the dice game loading dice, you basically robbing cats without a gun.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, if you I know where you from, you know where I'm from, that shit don't fly.
Like you said, you could get unalive for that. Well, let's wrap up, man. Give me a final thought.
I got two. I'm gonna start it out like, can I give you two?
Absolutely.
My first one is an idea for any of the listeners that's still on with us right now. And this is, I'm throwing a curveball at you, E, but I think this could be something. I was thinking about it as we were going on with the show. It just came to me. So you know how we used to do the with the gambling? We used to do, what was the joint we used to do when we throw all the cash in on one bet?
401k pick of the week.
So, yeah, the 401k pick of the week. I was thinking maybe we could, you know, evolve, you know, change it up a little, because we ain't done it all season, right?
Right. Yeah. Right. We have. I wasn't going to really bring out the 401k pick of the week until we got to like week 5.
I'm thinking something different. So we call it the freaking weekend parlay. So where as to like you give 3 locks and I give 3 locks. We put it in on my FanDuel, and it's only for fun. We throw $1. It's all right. And it's got to be plus money. Mm-hmm. And if like say Trips on, he gets his 3, or whatever guests we got on that week, they give their 3, and we put it in as a parlay for the show. And if the followers want to put it in on their FanDuels or their DraftKings or whatever they bet on, they do it too. But we make it like every guest, like me, you, and whoever's on, we give out 3, put it as a no risk, no reward, no risk, high reward, $1 parlay, all plus money. I think that'd be. I thought it could be fun.
So the opinionated one's parlay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So we could do, you know what I'm saying? I give 3, you give 3. If Trips on, he gives 3. And then, like I said, that's a 9-legger, all plus money. Everybody put $1 down. If we hit it, everybody wins. If we don't hit it, you lost $1, and if you
Right.
thought they off $1, then
Right.
what is it? You know what I'm saying? Just something, just to keep everybody together as a show, as a community, as a pod, as we try to grow this. You know what I'm saying? Everybody all in on the same thing. I just thought it might be something interesting.
I'm rocking with it. We'll start that next week. We're gonna do the opinionated ones parlay, and we'll set the stipulation. Like I said, obviously it's got to be plus money, and we're talking about doing at least a 5-leg parlay.
Oh yeah.
So if you pick 2 or 3, I'll pick 2 or 3 and go.
No, three from you, 3 from me. So it's at least 6.
At least
it's
6.
6.
All right.
Yep.
So we're gonna start that next week. The opinionated ones parlay. That's coming to you next week. Brought to you by Will. What's your second final thought?
My second final thought, I'm going to take it to another level. Say his name. His name is Trey Reed. This young brother was lynched.
Down in Mississippi, right?
On Delta State University college campus in Mississippi in the heart of oppression. In the backlash of the murder of Charlie Kirk, the hate monger, killed by his own kind, but they trying to blame it on people that look like me and you.
Mm-hmm.
This young brother was 20 years old, found hanging from a tree in the middle of a campus in Mississippi. The law enforcement immediately wrote it off as a suicide and called it no foul play. First of all, off statistics alone, more than likely, we're not taking our own lives. People who look like us. Part 2, he had broken legs. How was he hanging? How did he hang himself from a tree with broken legs? How did the police department immediately write it off as foul play? And how are they now, to this minute, still, quote unquote, investigating it?
Yep.
This young man was lynched in 2025 in a country that the President of the United States of America ordered all flags be flown at half-mast.
Yep.
For a hate monger, for a Nazi, for a racist, for a misogynist, for someone that said, you know what, I'm not even gonna, like, y'all can just pull everything up. He basically said that the country should bow down to a guy that doesn't think, Eric, that you should be in this country,
mm-hmm.
or your parents or your grandparents or however your family was brought here, that doesn't think I should be in this country, that doesn't think my children should exist. I have 2 beautiful children by one woman that happens to be white. They don't think my children should be breathing right now. And I'm supposed to have empathy for a guy that's his own words said that empathy was a bad word that caused hate. And we only skate the lines of politics here. But
Yeah.
this is not, and I posted on Facebook, and I think you saw it. Racism is not political, people. This is not politics we're talking. It's racism. And racism is not political, because there are people on both sides that don't like us. Racism is not about politics.
Mm-hmm. It's not.
And the country is always going to try to divide us and make it a line of, it's about right and wrong. It's about if you think my life is worth anything versus yours.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about, I don't care how you vote. I don't care what the fuck you think city council should do versus what I think they should do. It's deeper than that. It's deeper than rap. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like in the hip hop community, it's not about policy. It's about to this point, because of who's in this seat in this country. It's about you're bringing it back to when you were Trey Reed. It's 2025 and a young black man was lynched in this country, and there's no news on it. But there's all kind of news on the hate monger. A few months ago, people on the other side of the political side of it get gunned down in their house. Democrats by a Republican.
Yep.
Donald Trump got asked about that this weekend. About, you know, all the Charlie Kirk shit, half-mast. He said, but nothing was done about what happened in Minnesota. And he was like, oh, who? Oh, I'm not familiar. What?
He's never familiar with it.
You're not familiar, bro? Like I said, we don't do politics on this show. This ain't about politics. Racism is not politics. Racism is racism. And on this show, and as long as I'm gonna be on this show, we ain't standing for racism. It ain't politics. It's racism. No, that's a Trey Reed, know his name, look up his story, and share that shit. Because nobody's talking about it. And it's a shame. And it makes me hurt in my heart that I gotta raise two biracial little kids in this era of this country and try to explain both sides of not all white people are bad and black people aren't bad at all. Like, I mean, I'm raising them in an era of hate.
It's scary because
go ahead.
You're 1,000% correct, and it's scary that young children gotta be raised in this current climate and environment, because that energy, that divisiveness starts from the White House. We have someone in the White House who is feeding off that. You know what I'm saying? He's stoking the flames of that. He could sit there all he want to say, oh, I'm not a racist, but look at the groups that support you. Look at the groups that you stand by. Look at the things you stand by. Look at the things you stand for. Like you said, you know, he's sitting there praising Charlie Kirk as if Charlie Kirk was this great human being. Now, I had this conversation with somebody before. I don't wish death on nobody. So this ain't about, oh, he deserved to die. I'm not saying that. But
not at all. Not at all.
But let's not pretend that just because you died, you became a saint. You could have been a piece of shit that just died.
Yep.
So, you know what I'm saying? Again, not wishing, that doesn't mean you wishing death on anybody, just calling it like it is. If he was a piece of shit, oh, all right, listen, you know, it is what it is. It happened. This is the same gentleman as you talked about. This is the same gentleman that in talks about gun violence said, hey, sometimes people got to die, unfortunately, for us to keep our gun rights.
He basically said you win some, you lose some.
You know, and I want to use this analogy too, because I like I said, you're a dad, I'm a dad. I've had this conversation with my older daughter before, and I always speak to my daughter about the way she represents herself and how important that is for a young woman, right? Be articulate. You know what I'm saying? No matter how beautiful you are, don't ever lead with your looks. Lead with your brains. Understand? You know what I'm saying? And I always explain to her that it's important that you do that, because all attention ain't good attention. You got some women that love to walk around and show off their body or show off their looks because they know they're going to get attention. But all attention ain't good attention. Charlie Kirk said things, and he's not the only one. There's a lot of other guys on YouTube and social media, right? They say these things to rile people up and to get a response and to get attention and get the engagement and the algorithm, right? But every now and then you're going to stoke the flames of somebody who's really going to get pissed off by the agenda you're trying to push. So the same way you and I are talking about it right now, if we sat here and said things that were very disgusting towards a particular group of people, if we said things that were very offensive to a particular group of people, yeah, we might have some supporters who might be in the comment section, yo, I fuck with Eric and Will. But you still gonna have them people that be like, yo, I can't stand them motherfuckers because of what they said in this particular clip. Yep. And Charlie Kirk is a prime example of that. Again, ain't wishing no death on nobody, but you said things that stoked the flames of hate.
Yep. You picked your team, and
Right.
and it ain't mine.
And the irony of all this, like you said, when it first happened, I saw certain people on that side who said whoever the killer is should get the death penalty. Whoever, they should be punished to the harshest extremes of the law. And then when they found out, and then when they found out who the shooter was, those same people circled back with tweets that said, "This is a time of compassion and understanding. Charlie wouldn't want us to hate each other." Oh, Charlie wouldn't want us to hate each other.
Yeah. But what's crazy to me though, Eric, and you probably thought the same thing, is like immediately when the news dropped, I was like, where? Utah? Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a Saturday ongoing Saturday Night Live skit that's it's like a news broadcast, right? It's Kenan Thompson and some of the other, not the Weekend Desk, but it's like a news skit where they read like a story, and then at the end of the story they say if they're black or white. You know what I'm saying? And like for example, the one I just seen was it was Kenan Thompson. He's the black news anchor, and then a white woman, and she's reading the story, and she's like, a woman was arrested for assaulting a woman in a nail salon when they wouldn't take her EBT card to pay for her nails. And immediately Kenan Thompson's like, oh god damn it. And then the woman, she keeps on reading and she says, be on the lookout for white woman Emily. God damn it. And then Kenan Thompson's like, woo! Like it wasn't us. You know what I'm saying? Like, woo, it wasn't us. Like it's an ongoing SNL skit that they go back and forth.
I know, but listen, in those situations, right, like with the Charlie Kirk shooter, I had no doubt. And it wasn't just because it's Utah. We don't do those type of things.
Yeah. But now, I'm going to say something that, you know what? I'm going to say it because it's valid, because the first part is fake. So, remember when Trump was supposed to allegedly shot in the ear?
Mm-hmm.
Where was this motherfucker that day?
I'm just, listen, I agree.
But the reason I say that, and the reason I can say that and laugh, is because that Trump shit never happened.
There's an angle where you can see the publicists lining up the photographers.
Yeah.
Before
that's what I'm saying. Shot. Like we know that didn't happen. Right. That's why I can say that where was he that day? Because he would absolutely not have been there that day, because he wasn't supposed to be there. And I'm gonna say one more thing that hopefully doesn't get you canceled, but maybe this motherfucker was a pawn. Because guess what? The Republican Party and his approval rating was at an all-time low. Midterms are coming, and they needed something to boost up their shit. And he was not tied to them in any government faction at all. He was basically just a blowhard.
There's been conspiracy theorists that have said as much, because the type of rifle we use, they said it takes too long to break down. So they was like, why would you use that rifle knowing that you're planning an escape? Now, it's a very powerful rifle. Obviously, you could tell by the damage it did. But their whole thinking on it is like, that's not the type of gun you would use if you plan on running away from the scene. Because that's a rifle that requires you to break it down, put it away, and then leave. It would take too long. Unless you know. Like
we do in the movies, like when they would be on the fucking rooftop.
Right. Where it's a simple breakdown and just leave. Whereas, like, unless you knew for a fact that I've got a 10-minute head start before they even come into this area.
I want to try to make it political, but
no,
hey,
it's not. We have to talk about this.
We didn't make it political. No. We just made it right versus wrong.
Right, but
I think the parlay for the weekends could kind of be fun.
I think the parlays, that's a great idea. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna introduce that next week. And what else we got? Yeah, we're gonna end on that, man. Shout out to everybody who was rocking with us tonight. Again, we're back next Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. And on Monday, Real Fans Real Talk will be back at 7 p.m. We're introducing the Opinionated Ones parlay next week. Make sure you guys subscribe to both podcasts over on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And let's get it, man. Let's win some money this week. For my brother Will Gordon. For my brother Will Gordon, I am Eric Sanchez. We are the Opinionated Ones. We out of here.